Heller from our meeting today.
Approved.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And then Salome, can you do roll call, please?
Mr. Major,
Here.
Ms. Hollicroft,
Here.
Villalobos,
Here.
Mr. Stewart,
Here.
Mr. Keller, Mr. Feltner. Okay, we do have a quorum.
Thank
Yes.
you. All right, so we're going to go over the completed initiatives. Again, we did the African American Historical Sites map, the Riverside Community Soldiers. We got approved for the Ohio Historical Marker. So we've already got the funding. That's pretty much wrapped up, right? We're just waiting on.
Yes, so the sign is being manufactured, and I was told that we should not expect its delivery until the end of the year because there are several markers ahead of ours to be manufactured, and that's why we're kind of waiting.
So does that mean it'll be installed in the spring when the ground is a little softer?
Yes, once we get the notification that marker is ready to be shipped, then we can talk about scheduling.
Okay.
Yes, and then I will talk to our cemetery department to ask when that can be installed at the cemetery. Okay?
Awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. Sorry, what am I missing? Oh, I apologize. Can we do a motion to approve the April 18th minutes?
So move.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Someone has to second.
I second.
Thank you. All right.
In favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, and then establishing Juneteenth event. So again, Juneteenth is in its, is it fourth? Third or fourth? Somebody
Fourth
remind
year.
me. Fourth year, so I feel like it's well established and going. I think, what is our feeling about like ensuring that we have a booth or participation? What do you guys feel like? Again, we started as advisory and we did some boots on the ground. But moving forward, should that just be an expectation that we have a booth, or do we want to support in other ways?
I think most of the people on the, or I shouldn't say most, but some people are already serving in a capacity to help in some way, right?
Mhm.
I'm all in favor of a booth, or I'm all in favor of us just helping to support, just to be there as well.
Okay.
So whichever.
Okay. Anybody got any thoughts to add to that, or?
I think as well. I mean, it
Mhm.
it originated here. I don't want to take too much credit. It originated here and germinated into a nice event, and now it's I think the IDEA group is doing a good job of controlling, and I thought this year was good. But
Yeah.
I guess I don't know the purpose of this line 4, but I mean, I would add a lot more initiatives that got completed. If you're talking about, is that just for this year, or
Yes.
is that historically?
No. I believe this is just for this year. What are we? Feel free to.
Well, just because it says establishing June 10th event, and we did that in 2021. So if you wanted to look at initiatives that we've done, I mean, we did a complete and total vetting of the local community with regards to school, policing. We had
Outreach.
corporate individuals come to talk about that. I think we've expressed that. I think there's expansion into the minority community through, Chief, did you guys just hire a minority?
Two.
No, but I mean, was there a new minority police officer?
Officer C.P. Wills was hired back in January.
Okay.
Completed the academy, August of last year. He completed the academy in January and just got released from the SEAL training program. So how long it takes an officer to get through the training. We now have 3 females on the police department. The third one graduates from the academy tomorrow, August 9th, up in Lima.
Nice.
And then Officer Morgan Kimmel two officers now that have Hispanic heritage. Officer Andrew McCone, which you wouldn't be able to tell by his name, but his mother is from Mexico and his father is Irish. Oh, nothing is Andrew McCone. And then on Monday, he still needs to go to the police academy, but on Monday we hired Jose Barron. He started on Monday. He will start at the Ohio State Highway Patrol Academy on August 26th, and then graduate in January. And so we won't see him on his own until he gets through an SEO period probably next summer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
Thanks.
amazing.
So I guess
Yeah.
so back again to when we say initiatives, I guess, if someone ever watches this or reviews this, I don't want to be pigeonholed to I mean, those are three great things, but I think the impact of this committee and all of this is kind of alluding to the fact that I am going to say later on in this committer's deal that I really am going off this committee this year, so
No, you're not.
I just think
Yeah.
that we have a lot to be proud of that expands beyond those three
Yeah,
things.
I agree. I think when John and I were looking at that, it was just trying to recap the last things we were doing and then recognize that ongoing efforts of the relationship with the police, continuing to monitor the reports. You did a great segue into, the first complaint was seeing themselves within the community, meaning minorities, and so from the police, I'll do a side segue. We haven't celebrated or acknowledged, but, we do have, I believe it was 2 to 3 new African American or relatively new over our term here, teachers.
Yeah.
That are in Troy City Schools as well, which was amazing. Social emotional teacher, not necessarily saying that we're attributed for it, but it happened at the time where people were concerned about stadium school and kids being isolated. So yeah, you're right, there were a lot more that we've done, in years prior to this. So we just wanted to acknowledge that and also thank Troy PD for being transparent and again, being so helpful in regards to the police reports and always being able to answer questions. Another side segue, I participated in the CALIA accreditation, and the officer was from North Carolina, and I won't do his twang justice, but it was so cute. But he remarked, out of all of the towns, counties, places that he has to vet for the police accreditation, he's never seen a county have such stellar police force and the collaboration with the community and other organizations. He was jelly and wanted us all to go to where he lived. And I told him, no, we can't. But but again, like, I think we all have tried to hear the complaints and tried our best to advocate and to advise. So things are looking better for sure. So is there anybody, did we forget something that we've done we want to add? Thank you, Todd, for adding that in, because all of those are very valid points. And we'll continue to do the monitoring. Again, I think we were helpful in the cop camera situation, if we go all the way back to the beginning. So sorry to the records office who has to go through all that footage. I'm sure that's not an easy task, but I think we're really like a model community in regards to police and the citizens' relationships. So, if nobody has anything else, we'll go to the future. So the first one, and we've talked about this several times, but continuing to research how to reestablish the Festival of Nations. That was something that was very dear to not only Ms. Jenkins, but John felt that was kind of, really tied into the kind of events that we should reflect. So again, we'd love to continue to research that. We don't necessarily all have the time or energy to be boots on ground, but how could we maybe connect and or support that group? So.
Does anyone have contact details
Sorry.
for the lady that's running it?
I do. Well, for
Can
Ruth,
I have
and then I
them?
can get,
Can I have Ruth's contact
Oh, yeah.
details?
Yep, I got you.
I would like it as well, just to see what I can do as far as the Hispanic maybe.
Okay, yeah, I'll send it out to all of you. That's perfectly fine. For Ruth Jenkins. and then Todd is really probably the most versed in regards to Festival of Nations, like, just with the relationship with, you know, knowing that it came from a mayor's council, and I think that does confuse people, so that's one thing that I educated myself on. So, it was called the mayor's council, but the insinuation does not mean like the mayor is responsible or the city for the event, and I think it did confuse like some people. The assumption was, why isn't the city doing it? But, you know, we clarified that a while ago. So that's a potential subcommittee. Should I move on to the next, or do we have anything to talk about for that right
I
now?
mean, I think it's worth exploring. It went
Okay.
for a long time. I mean, I don't know if there's other agencies that wanna participate. I mean, most of the festivals and nations that I've attended, or even in the past, were primarily sort of fundraisers. And I think that's really what you need, is who's going to,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm not saying they should do it, but does Partners in Hope wanna do the
Yeah.
Festival of Nations, and then the vendors come in, sell their food from their cultural, base, and then, you know, split the money or do something. I mean, that's how it
Yeah.
was, that's my recollection of how it was done in the past.
Normally,
Okay.
was there
Just sort
a
of
fee, and then was there a fee to enter
I
into
don't
the
know if there was a-
festival?
I don't recall there being a fee to enter. Do you remember, Sean?
That was,
Yeah,
that's
it
where-
used to be, it was on the levee for a while, and then they moved it to like the Proudy Plaza. I think the last one was on Proudy Plaza, and you just, but I think you paid, like you went around and you had like a little taste of, for, I don't know, you paid $5 and you got a little taste.
Card.
Kinda like, I don't know, kinda like the Taste of Troy. I think
Yeah.
it was even in conjunction, didn't they,
For a couple of years, I think it was paired with.
with Taste of Troy?
So it was with the Festival of Nations and the Taste of Troy.
Yeah.
So I remember, you know, some of the, just, you know, regular restaurants out west being a part of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, I can mention something to our director.
I'm sure.
oh,
But
I did it.
I feel like
I
idea.
just used those 'cause I saw
Yeah,
you and
yeah.
that came to mind.
Or-
But it would be, I mean, even
Yeah.
if it was a service club or,
I wonder if IDEA would wanna, as a fundraiser for their other diverse events, 'cause then that would take them to full, like, you know, more diversity as opposed to just like a Juneteenth scope. Possibility.
yeah.
Food for thought. All right, so moving on to the next one, and again, from the beginning, it's kind of a hot topic, training, right, and diversity training. And so, again, I'm a firm believer, before I am an advocate for someone else to do something, that I need to learn myself. So I'm proposing that we, as an HRC commission, are trained in, diversity, equity, and inclusion training. And so the Troy Foundation says they have somebody kind of already lined up for that, and I would just like to recommend that we participate. And there may be a fee for it, but I do think that we do have a small amount of money that maybe we can use if we need to pay. But I do think, you know, again, that's kind of like going back to the beginning, like, we have to have the language so we can talk about the experience. And if we have a common language, we can do it in a positive way as opposed to just missing and conflicting. So I would like to propose that as a recommendation. I don't think we necessarily need a subcommittee for it, because we know where we can reach out to get it. So, thoughts?
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Anybody? Okay. Awesome. That was super easy. All right. So, the next one is presence at events to enhance the intergroup relations. So, again, like Todd reminded us, like, hey, that's not all we've done. We've done a lot of things, and there's some things that we're probably saying, and if you're listening, you're like, oh, I didn't know that. Why didn't I know that? It would have been productive to know it in real time, right? So, for example, when the officers are being sworn in, if the complaint was we don't see ourselves, and our chief is working really hard to, you know, to debunk that, we need to be there, I think. And it could be one of us, it could be in the form of a welcome, whatever, if we can't be there, and maybe Salome could say, hey, here's the welcome back from HRC, or however you guys think, but I do think that's huge. In ribbon cuttings, I did bring this up, I think it was last meeting or meeting before. Cookie Crumble is, African American owned, minority owned. Again, it's a good time to say, hey, welcome to Troy, you are safe, you are wanted, you know what I mean? That's a very good time. Equip them with the appropriate way, if something happens, to handle that, which is to email the city or contact HRC or our Troy PD. So that made sense that we should be there. And I think I've always said, like, why aren't we, if 4th of July, again, like, we're special statute, 4th of July is a federal holiday, our mayor's there, I think we should be there too. We were there on the first one. And I understand maybe, you know, everybody can't be at all these things at once, but some sort of representation, maybe even if it's just a flag that is waving, so people just know that they're okay, they should be safe, and they can advocate for themselves. So I think there might be some other times that I'm not thinking of, that I'm not aware of, so feel free to.
I guess we could probably just get a list from Salome and, try and find out which events we'd like to partake. And then, I will be happy to do some and go and attend. And maybe we take some HRC brochures and some things that we accomplish, and just a handshake, just so they know who we are.
Yeah, for sure.
I would be happy to do that.
Okay. I think that's great. And honestly, it could be, because it's Human Relations Commission, it could be every ribbon cutting. Again, we don't want to, like, reverse discriminate either, so it could just be business owners, you know, again, we're here for all of you, because who knows what kind of controversy. I can't keep up with the world, and I don't watch the news very much. There's always something different, so we probably should be everywhere, because it's human relation.
Ribbon cuttings are done by the chamber, right? And they're always public. I don't think they've ever been, I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, just us being aware of it and.
Notify.
Oh, to be notified. I was gonna say, I don't think anyone would ever exclude someone from going to ribbon
No,
cutting.
Yeah.
getting that information.
But at least be pressed.
Yeah, even information be present, however we wanna do it. Again, we can't, like, you know, roll out the red carpet and the band comes and, but just being diligent, so the marketing is, we heard you and we're doing what you need us to do, citizens, the best we can. And what we talked about, the swearing in, definitely wanna attend the swearing in of the officers in the ceremonies, 'cause it does make sense. It's human relations, so the officers at times could be dealing with things that they need advocation for too, so I think it makes sense to try to attend if possible, or have something there. And then our last one is ideas for strong support to minority professionals when hired. I cannot remember what that, so maybe it segues into like the basket, a letter, something of sorts. You know, I think of Mayor Mike, and I got a bunch of pins and, like, I don't know, paperweights, or Pete, you know, you get a pin, so maybe there's like something from HRC that just says, hey, you know, welcome to Troy. If you got any ideas, feel free to.
Stickies.
I mean, look, realistically, I think
Stickiness.
we can't even, we have a hard time getting a quorum, so getting people to go to those events, I do think it's nice to be notified, and that's fine. I think the reach out program, if you go back and read the bylaws, really probably is more a IDEA process than the HRC process. I mean, the HRC process is to be a conduit between the city and the community to determine whether there's, you know, egregious violations, is everyone being well represented, not so much to play welcome wagon to minorities. So I'm not critical. I mean, I guess perhaps that sounds critical of these, but I think they're two different ideas here that kind of they're complementary of each other. But I think they're good ideas. I think they're probably, from being on the IDEA board when it formed too, that's probably the group that would be more inclined or better suited to do that type of outreach, I would think.
Well, maybe we could support them to do it. I think for me, like, one of the goals would be.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I think one of the goals, at least for me, from the beginning was, I can't force the city of Troy to have an actual HRC that is embedded within and on the payroll, right? Like most majority cities across the United States of America. But what I can do is help them toe who they really are in their relationship back to the demographic in a positive way. I mean, it's okay to support IDEA too, but what I don't want to do is reinforce to the citizens that the city of Troy doesn't care and it's not their problem. You know what I mean? Because I think that's why we were created, to show, okay, we do care. There are things going on right now and we're going to listen to them and adjust to make the city what it is, you know, make it our own for all of us. So I was just thinking at it like that, a relationship building, but I do see the relevance in IDEA also participating. So again, it could be our flyer, our marketing,
I just
or
think
whatnot.
this board exists at the whim of the mayor, so,
Yeah.
just like any other board. So it's not a statutory created board. It does, I'm not saying it's not
Yeah.
gonna go. But I think one of the coolest things that's come out of this is the creation of IDEA. Because out of that, I mean, it started as, I mean, we've all been, I mean, 3 out of 4 of us were here from, I mean, it started as this little
Yeah. I love
deal, and
IDEA.
then grew to Juneteenth, and then Juneteenth grew into IDEA, and and so.
But I need IDA, like, to represent the whole city of Troy, right? Like, I don't want citizens to go, great, IDEA's here, and I equivalate that to Juneteenth, but I'm from Georgia, right? Like, or I'm Jewish, or, you know what I mean? Like, I just think we're advising because maybe we don't need to be traditional like every city, because we just said how untraditional but great we are, but this is a way that we could just help build that bridge. And ultimately, it's up to our mayor, you know? Maybe she has the welcome bag and hands it, and it speaks volumes, because it says, yeah, you know, there's been controversy about what's this non-voting whatever advisory, but if you're doing good, then it's whatever, right? Like, it still reinforces that the city cares and is aware and is there. But ultimately, it will be the mayor's. And I do see.
And I think it does show that we care, and we do care. I'm not stepping on your toes with regards to that. I don't know that it, you know, the 4 of us, I can't speak for anyone else. I know how busy you are, because I see you in court. I know how busy you are.
Yeah.
And I'm certain Marvin's busy, so attending a police chief swearing in might be a little difficult. But if we're notified, that gives us the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think that's all you're saying, is
Exactly.
notify us and give us the opportunity.
Yeah, and honestly, the ultimate goal would be for the city representatives to also represent us. So it doesn't necessarily have to be us. It could be Salome, it could be the mayor, it could be Patrick, which would be super cool, right? Like, they're just following it out. That's just my hot pie in the sky dream of, you know, again, we can't force it to be like most cities.
Involved.
Yeah, like, yeah. Man, you're like bucket list. I'll never win, dude. You're like the best lawyer ever, but but it makes me feel good. I can even like keep up just a little tiny bit.
I'm not debating with you, Sonia. I agree. I think you're doing a good thing. I just think.
Yeah, we're super busy. You'll never get an argument out of me.
But I mean, I guess that's my point. Are these realistic? Are these altruistic? And I think that's part of what we have to look at as we. Well, I don't know when we're even going to get in the next meeting. This could be my last one, so maybe that's why I'm speaking up more than I should. But I think that's the objective. I think for this group going forward is to go back and say, wow, in 4 years we've done a really nice job of doing some really cool things. Now, what realistically do we want to see us doing going forward?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, I think there's things we can do. I
Mhm.
didn't participate in this, so I didn't have an opportunity to share them, but I think there's things we could do
You could
that are.
add them now, I'm
Well,
writing,
I-
I'm fine.
No, I think it is good to be a conduit. I think it is important to get people involved. I think it has been heard. I think the minority representation in the schools and the city and the employment, have all
Yeah.
increased. I think awareness has increased. So, and I think that was the primary, I mean, this all really started from the incident of the video of the, downtown square in 2020 or whenever that was, and I think it's done a great job, and I'm proud to have been part of it.
Yeah. I would say it started from George Floyd, really, and I think the social media making our youth believe that that was our town.
Yeah.
And I think we've done a very excellent job. And honestly, like, I'll reiterate, you don't really have to do, it's truth. We just brought light to, the reality that we're not like the rest of them. So, yeah, I agree with you. I'm
Well,
super
and I
proud
think
of what we've done too.
We all learned
Great.
a lot. I mean, those,
Yeah.
going back to the Senior Citizen Day presentations, those were very in-depth and involved, and
Mhm.
I think we all learned a lot and saw a lot. Remember going to the fire department? We went to the fire departments for a while, and
Yeah, I actually got to be on the hiring committee to find minorities for the
Yeah.
fire department. So, yeah, it's been amazing. But again, like, I want all of you as commissioners who have taken your time to also leave here with I want us to have the same narrative and story, that we can look at people that look like us and say, we were heard, they cared, you don't have to worry about intentional racism within here. I want to feel good to say that. I'm not going to say it if I don't feel good to say that. So, you know what I mean? I just feel like the things we're doing, because we know, like, obviously, bad things are going to happen, racism exists, you know, there's always going to be something, but I want to be proud to say, not here, not them, go to, I always pick on Chicago, I'll leave Chicago alone today, but yeah, you know what I mean, just to be really proud, and for our mayor to be proud, to say, yeah, they're advisory, but look what they did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That speaks volumes, I think. So, the segue to next meeting, because that's very valid, because we've struggled having quorums and meetings, and how are we gonna have committees if we can't meet, right? So, that is pretty fair, and we're all not here to even divvy up committees at this point. So, I guess, is there a committee that speaks to anybody, and how do you, before we did not put, from the beginning, you have wanted, and I'm not gonna massacre it, I'm gonna let you say it, but
What's that?
you've wanted that ordinance that you've talked about, or is that the wrong way to say it?
Ordinance, yeah.
Yeah, so if that still needs to be on here, again, we are the marketers for the city and HRC. People ask us, they're gonna look at us, is it real? Are we safe? Is it good? So, again, I want us all to feel good about what we're doing.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the HRC has done some really good things and brought some light to things. Haven't affected any laws, but I think we've done some deep digging,
Mhm.
and I think things are great, so.
Do you want that as a initiative
Yeah,
still?
we should add that as an initiative.
Okay,
And we can bring it back to light.
all right. Do we need a vote to add that, or do we just
No,
agree?
just add it.
Okay,
Let's add it.
just gonna add the ordinance back, and then
Yeah.
perhaps if we get everybody at the next meeting, so I assume you'll chair that.
I can.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
that's right.
Is there anything on here that speaks to you, Ruby?
No, I'm good. I'm okay.
You don't wanna pick a subcommittee?
I'll let you assign it,
Oh,
because.
oh no, you pick what you, like, what speaks to you, like the festival, if that's where you wanna research.
Yeah, probably the Festival of Nations is probably the best one.
Okay, yeah, for
Just
sure.
so that we get more involved
Okay.
and see it kind of flatten for a little bit.
Okay, got ya. Todd, is it fair to ask if there's something that interests you? Will you be able to? I mean, I don't wanna be disrespectful of, you've done a lot.
Love you guys, peace
I
out.
love you too. All right, no
I'd
worries.
like to add, I think
Yeah.
that there's some high school groups, like within our public high schools and private high schools, they have, young political groups, they have young, not nationalist groups, but they have
Mhm.
you know, there's groups within the schools, and I think this would be a really good way to introduce them into city relationship work, and we can invite some of those groups out. Like
Teen leadership Troy would go.
Teen Leadership
Teen Leadership
Troy would
Troy,
be
Yeah,
good, yeah.
that would be pretty cool. Okay,
I just think we should maybe reach out to those groups and invite them
okay,
to come into some of the HRC meetings so they can kind of hear what we talk about, and then ask them to do a presentation of what their small group is. I mean, maybe, you
and
know.
what's going on, 'cause
Mhm.
we're getting
Things that-
old.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
And I think kids have a really good view of what's going on, at least at that level, and they could probably help us to understand some things.
Yeah.
And there are, I mean, there's Key Club, Interact, Astra,
Yeah.
Is there still a multicultural club at the high school?
I have no idea.
Okay. That happened the first year we started, they had a
Spanish
multicultural.
Club, I mean, I'm sure there's.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Let's see, on here, I will continue to work on the training, since I brought that up. And I think the presence and, again, that's like a group thing for all of us, and if we have time or whatever, what have you, so we'll put all for the others. And then,
I'd like to help out with Festival of Nations.
oh, yeah,
I'll reach
okay,
out to Ruth if you can give me your contact details.
okay,
I think that would be
definitely.
a really good,
For the
Interesting.
multicultural group, you can contact Abby Klein, she's one of the teachers at school, at Troy
Perfect.
High School, Abby Klein.
Okay, Klein. Nice. Right, so,
the first group, I think, National Honor Society, I think you want those
oh yeah,
kids in here.
can you hear us, Salome? I feel like I'm talking low on, okay, National Honor Society, that's really good too. Nice. All right, so, next meeting date, now that we have subcommittees, we all can take time to maybe research and come up with a next subcommittee date at our next June, or meeting, I was about to say Juneteenth.
Can you do a quick
Mhm.
perusal over the subcommittees again?
Yeah. So, Marvin and Ruby are interested in supporting the Festival of Nations or researching how to, so I'll give phone numbers to both of you. I think Ruby also is interested in possibly participating,
Yeah.
which is cool. And then I will look into the DEI training with the Troy Foundation, and then work with Salome, 'cause if it's gonna cost, or if we gotta schedule, I'll just refer back to Salome. The presence at events and to attend,
We just need
swearing-ins would be all, yeah, and they would
All
figure out how to, like, notify us, yeah. And then, ideas for showing support should be all too. So the ordinance would be for you to start or research, and then I think once you, like, do your presentation or whatever at the next meeting, I mean, I will participate too, you just tell me
I
what
don't
you.
know if I'll be ready for the next meeting.
And that's fine,
I'll
yeah, and that's
let you
totally
know when
fine,
after
okay,
that.
yeah,
I need
that's
to talk
fine.
to Todd and Salome. I got
okay,
a lot of pushback from certain individuals about it, and so I think I need to find a path,
yeah,
a green light path that'll,
I'm
gotcha.
sorry, about what?
the city
The
ordinance
ordinance.
that I was proposing,
Oh,
and it had something to do, I met with, Grant Kerber on it. So anyways, we can rehash that at the
Okay.
next meeting. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So next meeting, that's the next conversation, we were, every other month? But perhaps, should we go monthly until we can figure this out? I mean, granted, it's,
I'm good to go monthly.
okay, what about you? Okay, well,
So,
let's go monthly then. So, the question, if Todd is, I guess before that, if Todd is going off, can we get more people, would be a question,
Right, yeah.
right? I've emailed mayor names before, do we need to re-email, or, and again, you might not know this
You
second,
reach out to Mayor, you can,
okay.
email or call her.
Okay, so I think, I'm empowering all of us, right, to,
and if it, I mean,
pick a
it's only
couple
August,
people.
so if we're gonna go monthly or.
you'll be here next month?
Yeah, I'm not planning on going off to the end of the year. I think the end of the year, I told Mayor I'd serve a year, so we started in January. Yeah,
Okay.
I just wanted it known, 'cause I think we met in April, and now we're in, and that one didn't have anybody, and now we're in
Yeah.
July, so just in case we run into a lack of a quorum issue again, I just wanted my compliments to this group to be known and
Well, thank
keep up the
you.
good work. And if we make it, I plan on being here as long as I'm available until my term is,
Okay.
We need,
No, I
my
will.
coerced term is over.
Well, we appreciate it. You raised this well. Thank you. So for John, I do need to say, John, is struggling with the second and the fourth, right? 'Cause this is the second. Okay. So he asked if we could possibly meet the first or the third Thursday. Because he does, his church has the laundry ministry, and it's really dear to them. Okay.
Would you be
Is
willing
that,
to change meeting, day to Wednesday?
I'm fine with that.
I can
I'm
change
fine
till,
with
I can do that,
I could do that.
just not Monday.
Just depends on what, I mean, I don't have anything set on Wednesdays except through the golf season. So we won't be here by golf season, I don't think.
I thought he was gonna say poker.
Oh.
I thought he was gonna say Bible
That's
study
a bad idea.
Wednesday.
Right, that's not a bad idea.
Replace golf with poker night? That's a good idea.
Yeah, just call me if you need a,
Okay.
Love it.
Yeah.
So,
dedication.
I'm fine with that, again, so, us here as a quorum, I'm fine with it. So then we don't have to worry about the first and the third conversation, 'cause that was just for Thursdays for John, so. Now, John's a pastor, Wednesdays might be, I feel like it's Universal Bible Study Day. So, he may say that that's a conflict,
That-
but I
you know
can't
what?
speak for him.
most Christian schools let out early, like if they even have sporting events on Wednesday, because
They go to
there's a
Bible.
lot of people that go to church on Wednesday night.
Yeah,
So
that's
I don't
true.
know how that fits John's schedule, we need to ask.
yeah, so, but we're okay with it. So, yeah,
I
we'll
just
just
go to
ask
church on
John.
weekends.
Okay. Awesome, so then we'll meet next month, and I guess we'll get with John, it'll be Wednesday, or it'll be the first or third Thursday. But that's a conflict for you, right, the first and third? So we're gonna try really hard to do the Wednesdays.
Or mid-month,
Or what?
mid-month, I mean, does it always have to be on the first?
Well, for John, if we stay on Thursdays, it has to be the first or
Okay.
third, because of the laundry ministry. So, we'll try our best. Awesome, so, body wanna talk? Nobody's here for public comments. Did we have any commissioner member comments? That's where you were gonna do your thing, right?
Oh, I just did, yeah,
Well,
but I kinda did it throughout the whole thing. No, I mean, hopefully there will be more meetings, but I did reach out to Patrick today and said, look, I just can't do it anymore. My son's home from law school tonight, and I just can't, I mean,
Does
it's
he
just,
want to be on here?
so, huh?
Does he wanna be on here?
He,
The true creator of
he
BBA?
is in.
Yeah, it was his idea,
He
actually.
would if he wasn't in the state of Missouri, but
Oh, gotcha.
he is in law school in Missouri.
That's
But,
Okay.
no, look, it's been a great experience. I truly hope when you look back at it through the lens and the microscope, you recognize what an important role this has played in changing the dialogue of the community, and it truly has, and through the leadership of everyone on this dais, past and present, it's been a very complimentary, good experience, and things are going to come out of it that are going to outlive anyone on this board, and I think you can't ask for anything more than that, and I guess we're getting started, but in reinitiating this to see where it started from those initial big interviews, for lack of a better term, to here. It's just been an incredible journey, and I wish the best, and, I mean, just little things like that map is phenomenal. I mean, Salome and Lauren and you guys for gathering the information, but I mean, that's gonna, I mean, my grandkids will come and get a copy of that, like, you know,
It's pretty exciting.
Juneteenth, the formation of IDEA, the recognition of training, the increase through the city and community, and, it's been a privilege and an honor to serve, and I hope, whoever follows in my steps will take it one step further than I did, so I appreciate it all.
Well, thank
Job
you.
well done.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so, do you have any comments, Chief, or? Okay, gotcha. All right, well, I'm gonna move to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
I got a
Second?
kid to get home to.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.